I'm going to explain how money is being created. It's a very interesting story, and it's actually complicated, but intentionally complicated, because the authors of the present monetary system don't want you to understand what is going on. But that's the true story. And the true name for it is check-kiting. Check-kiting is in the criminal code. It is something which is punishable if committed by private individuals or private firms. But it is actually sanctioned if it's done by the government, or actually two agents, because check-kiting assumes two conspirators, one issuing a check payable to the other and vice versa. And the checks have to go through the clearing system. And while they do, there is no backing for either check, but they enter the money supply. And this is how the money supply can be increased. Now, going back to the government of the United States, there is the US Treasury. The US Treasury issues liabilities which are called bonds, treasury bonds, and they are payable in Federal Reserve notes. No backing, no provision for retirement or repayment. It's just printing them and issuing them. The Federal Reserve, on the other hand, is issuing Federal Reserve notes, the common banknotes which are in circulation not only in America but all over the world. And the interesting thing is this: these Federal Reserve notes are backed by the very same bond which was issued by the US Treasury. Now you do see the circle. The US Treasury issuing bond, which is used to issue Federal Reserve notes, which becomes currency, and at maturity, the bonds are payable in Federal Reserve notes, which is, the bond is payable in itself. This is something which exhausts the concept of prestidigitation. This is the technical world which clowns in circuses and various shows are performing. In other words, is illusionist tricks. But also Ponzi scheme. Charles Ponzi was an Italian immigrant in the 1920s who issued them, and he was put to jail for it. It's just smoke and mirrors. It's hot air money. It's a farce. Now you might ask the question, well, didn't Lincoln in the 19th century during the Civil War issue greenbacks first? And it wasn't as complicated as that. In fact, there was no Federal Reserve then. There was no central bank. What Lincoln did was he issued US Treasury notes which were non-interest paying and just put them in circulation. Why don't they do it today? That's an interesting question. Now, today, there's no need for suspending habeas corpus, although it may happen. I'm not saying it won't, but At present, people accept the Federal Reserve notes without questioning. This is a sad reflection on the state of education. People don't know anything about the Constitution. People don't know that there are certain things the president can do and there are other things which the president cannot do. They are like sheep. They are being herded to the slaughterhouse or to the shearing shed, and they don't protest. They just take it for granted. So this is the little secret behind money. But how long can it go on is another question. Because there will be some breakaway people, people who are ahead of others, and they will one day say, enough is enough. That farce has to